Welcome to Plot Twist. I'm Mel.
And I'm Ash. And this is a podcast movie review
with a little bit of pop culture mixed in.
And for our first movie, we're going to do Almost Famous.
We figured we'd go with a light, fun, coming-of-age movie, which is also one of my favorite movies.
Which I have some questionable
situations in the movie.
Questionable about that being your favorite movie.
Yeah, so a little bit about us. We are sisters, but we definitely have difference in opinion on certain things, which you'll see throughout some of these movie reviews.
So I think we're going to start with the overview or plot, I guess.
Yeah, if you've never seen Almost Famous, like I said, it's a coming-of-age movie about a young kid who has been basically, I guess, contracted by a magazine to write a piece on an up-and-coming rock band. And through the movie, he kind of gets entangled in everything that they have going on, thinking, they're friends with them when they're really not.
It's set in 1973, and it stars Kate Hudson, Zooey Deschanel, Jason Lee, Jimmy Fallon, Phyllis Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, this movie is loaded with big-time celebrities. Some of this was their first big movie that they did, including Zooey Deschanel. This was set in 2000. She'd only did a couple of small things before this, so this was a really great breakout role for her. Even though she doesn't have a huge part, she definitely is in some significant parts of the movie, for sure.
And it's a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is really high.
Yeah.
I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is like, I think something's a good movie, and then I look and it has like 21% of like, okay, maybe I don't.
And sometimes you look and see that it's 91%, but you're like, I hated the movie. I've had that happen before too. Like, so many people love a movie that's so highly rated, right? And I'm like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, like this one's highly rated, and in my books, I wouldn't rate it that high.
Yeah, I love this movie. That's one of my favorite movies. Maybe it's because, I don't know. So I was, 12 when this movie came out. So you would have been 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been 5. So that's how old we are right there. Or young that we are.
Well, we could jump in like with the opening credits or the opening.
The opening is kind of long though.
It's slow.
It's cool though. They write the names in pencil. Yeah, honestly, I don't really like when movies have all the credits a lot of the credits at the beginning. It just kind of feels like it takes forever to get into it. But I understand sometimes it's significant to the movie.
That's definitely like an old thing. Like I feel like a lot of older movies, like all the credits are in the beginning. Like have so many credits in the beginning and not at the end.
That was really popular for the time frame 2000. Because I remember other movies they used to do that too. Like Napoleon Dynamite has a really long opening like that where they write out everything. So,
and I was really confused in the beginning because they play Christmas music in the beginning. Yeah. They play Alvin and Chipmunk's Christmas song, and you're thinking, "Oh, it's Christmas," but it's not. The mom's just crazy. And
the mom is very neurotic, and I love it. She honestly might be one of my favorite characters.
And so you quickly find out that it's not Christmas because you see Zooey Deschanel, who's the daughter, and she comes in talking about, you don't let me listen to rock, and she's sheltered pretty much. And she's like, we have Christmas in September. So then you kind of get the timeline of what day or what month it is, I guess. I was confused by that when I first saw. I was like, wait, I didn't know this was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And then no, it's not a Christmas movie. She's just a lot.
The mom's just very neurotic.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets the scene though, so you know how William has been raised, which is going to be one of the main characters, the boy in the movie, and kind of just get a feel for what he's gone through up until now.
Yeah. And then you get more insight into the mom and the kids and their relationship, and because the kid, William, who is played by Patrick Fugit, I think is his last name. I'm not too sure. But he doesn't know how old he actually is. You see a scene, he's funny. Like next to other kids. Obviously, he skipped a grade. And
no, he skipped a few grades.
Yeah, and so the mom doesn't tell him how old he is. He thinks he's like almost 13. and it turns out to be 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is jail time.
Jail time,
For mom. Crazy.
sure.
And we can start with, or get into your favorite scene.
My favorite scene. I think my favorite scene in that movie is Russell and William had just went to a party in Toledo, Kansas, I believe it is. Or I'm sorry, Tupelo.
Topeka?
No, Tupelo, I think is the city. Anyway, they get invited to this house party at, from where they're touring right now, and so they're in the middle of nowhere, I think. And they go to this house party, and he ends up taking acid, jumps off of the roof into the pool, and then of course William calls, the band to come get him. They all get on the bus, or they get on the bus, and then the song "Tiny Dancer" by Elton John starts playing. And they all kind of just start shaking their heads, and then one by one they start singing, and then they're all singing the song, and I just think it's like a really wholesome moment. I honestly get chills every time I watch it.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was a good moment. I did enjoy that scene. I think my favorite scene is the plane scene. When the plane's going down, and then they're all sharing each other's secrets. I think that's my favorite scene. Definitely unrealistic, for sure. The captain coming out, we're alive, hallelujah. I definitely would have been like, what?
Did you hear at one point the door opened up, and then one of the pilots was like, as I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, he was like saying like
oh my
the
gosh,
Lord's Prayer.
Not.
I don't know, what is it called? The Lord's Prayer or something like that.
I don't know. All I think about that song. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. That scene was pretty funny too. The movie obviously doesn't really have any plot twist in it per se, but
the plot twist is that the kid is 15 and he's hooking up with all these older people.
Okay, but they've got to know that he's 15.
There's no way.
He looks young. They honestly should have probably.
I think they should have cast somebody different or made him 18, because it felt so weird. Like, if somebody saw the movie nowadays, aka me, I was just like in shock. I'm like, this 15-year-old out here on tour. First of all, that was crazy. I don't know, maybe it's because that was how it was in the 70s.
But it's weird too, because how sheltered they were and how hard the mom was on the daughter. I'm surprised she let the son go on tour. Like,
okay, yeah, that is a
is
hole in the movie that I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why are you letting him do this stuff? I guess maybe she didn't want him to wind up like the daughter and go off on her own, so she was like, okay, I'll give you like a little bit to,
I guess, but it just seemed so strange that, and then he missed graduation, and everything. It's just kind of crazy that she let him do all of this stuff when she didn't even want the daughter listening to a Simon and Garfunkel album. Like,
yeah.
And yet the kid is touring with a rock band.
Yeah, that's crazy. Then we have, we're just going to kind of go out of order. I'm sure it'll get better as our podcasts go on. But
yeah, basically what we're going to do is just hit major points of the movie. So if you're watching this, hopefully you've seen the movie, because if not, then you're going to be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
This is pretty much to review movies that you've already seen. So.
And we're not a serious podcast. So if you're a serious person,
yeah,
deuces, because we're just not those type of people.
We're laugh. We're gonna give our opinion on stuff, and that's the thing. Everybody has their own opinion. You don't have to agree with us. We don't have to agree with each other, which we definitely won't on some things. I know that
AKA
for sure.
This movie already.
Yeah, because I get the whole thing is 15, but also I think that might have been a thing back in the day. Like, kind of really didn't matter about age. I don't know. I don't know if it did. I don't know if it didn't.
Well, we can talk about Penny Lane's introduction. So we have Kate Hudson, who plays Penny Lane.
Mm-hmm. She is amazing. I love Kate Hudson. She's one of my top favorite actresses of all time.
We first see her whenever he gets to his first concert, and she comes out of the shadows all mysterious like.
Yeah.
And they get introduced there, and then from there they become friends. And that whole thing is weird also, because he's like, I love you.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I love Russell.
Yeah, it's definitely like
weird.
He sees her in like a loving sexual way, and she sees him as like her brother.
And we
basically.
don't really know how old she is.
Right. We don't know how old she is. We don't know. Actually, honestly, we don't know anything about her at all.
No, nothing about her. Don't know how old she is.
She's a quote unquote groupie in the movie, although they don't call themselves that. They call themselves the Band-Aids,
Yeah,
which are more fans than they are groupies. But
they love.
at the end of the
band.
day, they're still groupies, in my opinion. She tried really hard to like not give them a bad rap, but they basically are doing everything that groupies do, following them everywhere. They are sleeping with them, even though she alludes to that they don't.
Yeah.
They all are sleeping with each other.
But
so.
and then I think technically, like, she's really only sleeping with
With Russell. Yeah, because she loves Russell.
And then we find out that Russell has a wife.
Yeah.
Wife loosely.
Mhm.
They say like
She
ex-girlfriend, and then they say something weird.
We never
about
really
it. I
got
don't
any
know.
more information about that. It's just kind of like a little thing I think thrown in
I would say
there.
there's not much like character develop happening in this movie. Like,
You're
they're just
right.
kind of there. They're not like we don't see them go from. I think we don't really see them go from one thing to another. Like they're not.
Which is crazy because the movie's 2
developing.
hours long. It's a long movie.
It's a long movie for a whole lot of nothing. If I'm being honest, like it's a nothing burger movie,
A nothing burger.
like a nothing burger.
Like a plain, no cheese, no
Like,
lettuce,
yeah,
no
it's
tomato, no sauce, no nothing.
I think it's a nothing burger movie, if I'm being honest. Like the set is amazing. I loved the set design and all of the, tchotchkes, whatever.
You're right. I guess I never really thought that way because I just love the movies, like the vibe of the movie in the 70s, and so I think I get lost in the like just want to be someone you're not feeling in that movie. But you're right. There's really not any character building. Honestly, the person whose character changes the most is the mom. I think she
Yeah.
goes from being so neurotic to
Well, I mean, she's still kind
She
of
is-
neurotic towards the end. She's
right,
just like
but I feel like she's a lot more.
she's just like
chill.
hugging her kids.
I don't know.
I mean,
feels like she's-
we don't really know that she's
Yeah.
any more chill than normal. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for letting him go, but I just feel like the movie has really nothing. Has nothing. I mean, yeah, there's a plot line of a kid following a band around writing a story, but other than that, we have like the mysterious Penny Lane, which we get no information from. The plot line with Russell and him and his like. There's nothing. There's just nothing happening. There's nothing happening.
I mean, when you put it that way,
like
I do think it's just a feel good movie though. I think it's a movie you can watch, have it on the background, and not really have to pay attention to everything that's going on to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those movies. There's
Right.
some movies you need to see every part of it because there's different stuff going on. This one, you're kind of right. It's just kind of like a background feel good movie. Which personally, I love background feel good movies. But
well, I know that Penny Lane was inspired by a real person named Penny Lane Trumbull.
would she follow the Beatles? Is that who she followed? The Beatles? I'm pretty
Let's
sure
see.
that's who it was.
Penny Lane.
Also, I don't know if you can see her right now, but one of my dogs is named Penny, and she is named after Penny Lane from this movie.
Penny Lane Trumbull was also known as Penny Lane, is an American socialite, businesswoman, and entrepreneur. During the 1970s, she formed the Flying Garter Girls, a group that traveled around the country as groupies for famous rock bands.
Right. So, and that's what this movie is loosely based on, is her life. If you didn't know that.
I'll try to put a picture up.
Yeah.
Side by side comparison, but we don't know. We are the IT department, so
Yeah. We're struggling a little bit, so send
Whoa.
help.
SOS. Somebody sponsor me.
Or one person that's probably going to listen to this podcast.
That's so funny.
And also, you can see I have another little guest right here. Sorry, sometimes they'll be appearing in our videos, and it just is what it is. So if you're not a dog lover, goodbye.
Bye. So, Almost Famous is a fictionalized account of Cameron Crowe's experience as a young rock music journalist in the 1970s. While the movie is not a direct retelling of his life, it draws heavily on his personal experiences and observations while covering rock bands for Rolling Stones magazine. So, I'm assuming that that's what the rock bands did in the 70s. Traveled around and partied.
Well, yeah.
And one of my
But also, the stuff about Penny Lane, he added in the movie because, I mean, obviously, he was around in that era, so either one knew her, or two just kind of used that in the movie because,
yeah.
you know.
I will say one of the scenes I did love was whenever Will calls home and he's talking to home and Russell comes up and he's like, "Let me talk to her." And then she starts telling Russell like basically like you're a low life, like you don't have any brain cells, you know, she's just like kind of telling it how she feels about rock bands and people who play music. And he's like you can see it like it sinks in and he's kind of like, "Huh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
And then like right before they go on, he's like, "Your mom weirded me out, dude," or whatever he says. "Your mom, that was weird, man." And he was like, "Oh, she means well." I did really like that part because it kind of I feel like that steered Russell for the rest of the way to like, and I
Yeah,
honestly,
but then he lied about the Rolling Stone story.
right, but I honestly don't feel like my personal opinion is I don't really feel like Russell was trying to stand out by himself. I feel like he was just the hottest one out of the band, and a lot of times I feel like when that happens, they get drawn more toward the girls in the crowd and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like all the girls fangirling over him. I don't think he was like necessarily trying to be like I'm
The man.
the man. Like I feel like he wasn't trying, and that's just what was happening, and the band was seeing that, and then
How about whenever the manager brought the T-shirts out, and Russell's face was the only one in focus, and the other guys was like blurred.
yeah, they
Remember
were
that? That was pretty funny.
super upset.
Because, and that's the thing, the whole band basically, felt like Russell was hanging it over him that he could be by himself. He could be a solo artist and, throw them to the side.
Okay, maybe I was asleep or something because I don't remember like Russell really.
Well, he wasn't being like that. I'm just saying the band was saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they were the ones making that up, and they
Yeah.
were the ones kind of like creating that narrative
Mhm.
and that vibe when I didn't really get that from him.
Mhm.
Like he just seemed really chill.
Yeah, and for a 2-hour movie, we definitely could have got a little more storyline from the band or
Yeah.
something. So
a lot more.
but maybe that was Mr. Crow's idea was he was just gonna kind of like loosely put all this stuff in here, not really like.
And then the whole like, what was with the electrocution thing on stage? Like, first of all, you can't really even tell what's happening. Like, is he having a heart attack? Is he getting electrocuted? Like, there was no like, and then they just cut. It was like you saw him on the ground, and then it was like, oh, cut to the next scene, and his hands wrapped, and you're like, what? Like, why wouldn't you have made a bigger like deal about that? Like, I feel like you could have gone to where like, oh, he can't play anymore, and then they see that they actually do need him. Like, I don't know. It was just
you're
like,
right. I actually
random.
Now that I'm like thinking about it, I feel like every scene was rushed in that movie. Like,
but it's the longest movie ever.
Yes, so they just had a lot of scenes of doing stuff. Like, yeah, wow. Now that like, you kind of put in that light, it's just kind of. You're right. There's so many scenes, but they're all just like. It's like 5,000 3-minute scenes.
It's like a whole movie of like word vomit. Like,
yeah, I never really thought of it that way. I'm sure there's people who love that movie too that have a total different artistic take on.
Oh, I'm sure
the way it was filmed and stuff, but this is just ours. So
see, what's crazy about me is I love movies, but I also like movie like that's not realistic. Like that could not happen. And I know, like, oh, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. I would like to see a realistic movie. I don't think that's why I watch documentaries.
Yeah, I don't think so. See, and I'm the opposite. I don't care if it's realistic or not. I love to just feel like I'm just in the movie and like that. I guess I like to feel naive and like to things out in the real world and just think that sometimes everything's just like movie land, Yeah. I don't know.
I know, I get that. I like feeling like that too. But
now when it's like really unrealistic something happening, which mainly happens in like horror movies, which we'll definitely get to because that's our favorite genre. But yeah, I get it.
So, I mean, overall, Do you have anything else you want to
I actually
talk
don't
about?
have a like. I wanted to like each movie kind of do like a scene that I hated or not. I really didn't hate any scenes because I feel like there were just so many of them. There wasn't one long enough for me really to hate. I don't think. Um, and so now I do love. Let's talk about the end. The ending. I did like the ending. So basically, you know, we kind of didn't talk about this part, but you know, Russell's wife was in town for one of the concerts, and then, you know, Penny Lane's basically getting her heart broken by Russell, and she overdoses on Quaaludes, and then basically has an awakening that she doesn't need Russell, and she's gonna go live her life. But Russell's like, oh, I want you, Penny Lane, now, you know, now that everything's said and done, so he wants to see her, but she ends up sending him to William's house
Plot
instead of
twist!
to see her. And when William gets there, he's not William. When Russell gets there, he's kind of like, I thought I was here to see Penny Lane, but basically Penny Lane sent him to see William, basically to apologize to William for denying his whole story.
Yeah.
Which honestly, we didn't even really talk about that much because that is the main plot of the movie. William is trying to write a story on a band to give to Rolling Stone. That is the plot.
That is
of
the
the
plot.
movie.
And then how weird then he shows up as a 15-year-old and all I have to say is like, oh, okay. And then they just move past it? Like, what do you mean? Why was there was no more like, oh no, we're not working with this guy. We're not da da da. Like, there was none of that. It was just like, oh, you're this guy?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yep. And then they move on. And then that editor girl's a B word.
Yeah. Pull up real quick. Pull up an inflation calculator because they were paying him $1,000. They were going to pay him $1,000 for this piece to write for Rolling Stone, and I want to know how much 1,000 was back in 1973. Let's see how much that was. Wow. So, which is crazy. This is $1,000 in 1973 is worth $7,202. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. We don't know for sure. We just know that it was more money than
yeah. No, that's what
planned
what it
originally.
says. Purchasing power or something. Yeah. Anyways,
so I'm gonna read some reviews that are on.
Okay. Let's see.
Rotten Tomatoes.
All right.
So, but I'm gonna read audience reviews because nobody wants to read a critic review.
Yeah. Except for are we critics? And we want people to watch our review.
Well, nobody wants to read certified critics.
Okay.
We want to read the good.
Yeah, don't ever certify us.
we want
to be nobody critics forever.
We want the real stuff. Okay, let's. I'll read a good one and then we'll read a bad one.
Okay.
With memorable performances and a kick-ass soundtrack, Almost Famous is an enjoyable blend of humor, drama light, and 70s rock. I am in love with Kate Hudson. Her entire performance was filled with such pure beauty and innocence. It is probably the greatest of her career. Our next one. Kate Hudson has a good performance, but the movie lacks in the music department. It's an autobiography of sorts, but an interesting one.
Yeah, I can agree with that because I don't really agree with I mean, there are great songs because Elton John has a few in there, and of course, I'm a huge Elton John fan. But you're right. The rest of the soundtrack,
this one with a 1-star review, the most boring rock band ever, and and was that supposed to be Hunter S. Thompson with the cigarette holder? A god awful film.
Oh wow, they really went for it.
Well, we can do a good one. Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies. When my son was in middle school, he left our car in front of his school, and I yelled out, "Don't do drugs!" The look on his face makes me laugh today. Great movie, great cast, great directing.
And the cast is great. I mean, the cat. Oh, and we forgot to touch on Philip Seymour Hoffman in the movie. He is basically the mentor for William because, you know, he worked for a radio station and used to write too, which R.I.P. because he was a brilliant actor. But he also isn't that. I love his part in that movie.
Yeah. I love his part. And this review is cracking me up. It says, it gave them 4 stars. And it says, can't remember why, but I liked it.
hey, that's a good enough reason to give you 4 stars.
They watch that under the
I do like reading the bad reviews, but just because I like to know people's why they thought it was bad.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the reviews for like the actual critics on here are obviously really good because it has a score of 90%, 91%. But overall, and then a lot of people are saying that it was comedy, like funny. I wasn't laughing.
Oh, I was at the mom. The mom's
Okay,
hilarious.
the mom, yeah. I mean, there was parts, but it wasn't like ha 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 funny. It was like
Some
ha,
of the
ha,
stuff
funny.
that I'm going blank on his name. The Elvin and Chipmunk guy. What's his name?
His name is, I think, Jeff Lee.
I thought he was kind of funny in the movie too. He did have some funny lines. Whether it's supposed to be funny or not, I don't know. But as well as
Sorry, his name's Jason Lee.
Jason, yeah, as well as the girl from The Craft. She has a couple of funny lines too in there.
I just love that movie. So
The Craft.
yeah,
I know. We will review that one too.
No, but Jason Lee, for those that don't know, is the star in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, and they were playing that song in the beginning of the movie, and I think that's just so.
Which again, that
funny how
Alvin
that
and
works
Chipmunks
out.
came out way later than this movie, so
Yeah, I'm just saying, like I think.
no, I know, but that's what that's what I'm getting to is that came out way later. And also, if y'all don't know, Zoe Deschanel has a line in the movie where she talks about her being like a yes person. Well, 8 years later, she actually stars in a movie called Yes Man with Jim Carrey. So I think there's a few little things in the movie that are pretty ironic that happen in the future that obviously they didn't know because this was in 2002 or 2000 is when this movie came out. So it probably started filming in like 1998, 1999.
It says that the film featured over 50 songs and had a music budget of $3.5 million, which is significantly higher than the average film music budget.
Which is crazy because for it to have that big of a budget, I don't remember the soundtrack being that great for that big of a budget.
Yeah, I don't know.
It probably mainly went to Elton John to use his songs.
Oh, 100%. I'm sure it
So.
did because I'm sure he got paid a lot for that. And the plane crash scene was inspired by a real life incident that happened to Alice Cooper and his band. Then they were on a plane that was about to crash, and the passengers started revealing secrets.
You know, there's a lot of musicians who died in plane crashes. Yeah. Just crazy. Bob Dylan, most notable probably, but you know, or Aaliyah.
That movie, Bob Dylan movie with.
No, I want to watch it. Is it
Timothée
good?
Chalamet.
Was it good? Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Oh, I want to watch it. I love music, autobiographies, whatever. So
I would watch it. Yeah, I do like that. But
have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody or the Elton John one?
I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody for sure.
The Elton John one's really good too.
The Motley Crue one is really good.
Oh,
with
The Dirt?
MGK. Yeah,
The Dirt, yeah.
I liked that movie a lot.
That was a good movie.
And they're coming out with a Beatles movie.
I know. I'm super excited.
Let me see. I don't think it's supposed to release for a while. Beatles.
And again, guys, we are just amateur movie reviewers. These are just our opinions on the movie. We're not experts in film by any means, but we do love it. There are some other films we'll get into that we get more behind the scenes on, just because I love the way certain movies are made and filmed.
So it says the Beatles biopic, Beatles a 4-film cinematic event, is scheduled for theatrical
yeah. release
in April 2028, with all 4 films
2020. Oh yes, because it's gonna be 4 films.
Yeah,
sorry.
With all 4 films being released simultaneously. Sam Mendes will direct the films, which will be narrated from the perspective of each Beatles member. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So we have Paul Mescal, who's going to play Paul McCartney. Harris Dickinson, who will play John Lennon. What's his last name? Kogan? I don't know. We should probably know how to pronounce that. Will play Ringo Starr, and Joseph Quinn will play George Harrison.
Joseph Quinn. He was in Stranger Things.
That's very exciting. I'm very excited for that.
Any other music biopics or whatever coming out? I thought there was another one, but there's so many. Honestly, we might not do a ton of those, but they are pretty good.
I don't know, but we can chat about other movies coming out.
Yeah, what's coming up? I know that Bloodlines just came out, Final Destination, which I saw. You need to watch it. It's actually really long, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I do want to go see that, and
I want to see Sinners.
Yeah, I want to see Sinners too. I heard it was really good.
Yeah.
So we need to put that on the list.
There was another one out too that I wanted to see. I can't remember.
Let's see. There's
Also-
a lot coming out, but I mean, anything that looks good for us to us.
Also, I know it's kind of controversial right now because everything that's going on with her, but A Simple Favor 2, it's interesting, and I think there's a lot to be said about that movie, so I definitely think we need to do one on that.
Oh, 28 Years Later is coming out. Did you ever watch the other
28
movies?
Days Later.
Yeah.
There's actually, I think there's multiple of them, but I watched it so long ago whenever it came out that I'd have to rewatch it.
And Megan 2.0.
I never saw the first Megan yet.
I didn't see the first Megan either, but I saw like mixed reviews on it. Like some people say they liked it, some people say they didn't like it.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I've seen like
Because to
people
me, I
excited.
thought Megan was more of like a horror,
It is a
right?
horror
Okay,
movie.
but the second one, I watched the full trailer for it, and it seems more like a comedy, like action movie than it does a horror movie, in my
And then
opinion.
we have another Jurassic World Rebirth.
I haven't even
Which
kept up with those.
there's so
many. It's like Star Wars.
Don't even get started on Star Wars.
I
Everybody's
tried.
shame.
I've tried to
here.
watch the first one, and I just
You have to watch it with me or somebody, so that way, like,
So we can laugh?
hold you accountable. No, so I can hold you accountable for watching it. But you don't really like sci-fi stuff like that.
I do like sci-fi, but I do.
Sounds suspicious.
Let me think of my favorite sci-fi movies. Let's see. I definitely have watched sci-fi. Let's see.
The Fantastic Four First Steps is coming out, which I know you don't watch any of that type of stuff, but I
Yeah.
do.
I have seen Fantastic Four a long time ago.
Do you watch? But you don't watch any of the Marvels. Like you've never
But
seen
I
like
have seen-
Endgame,
okay,
like any of those.
I've seen.
movies.
Let's see. Is this Marvel? Iron Man. I thought that was
Iron
good.
Man is Marvel.
Oh, I like the. Is Marvel different than DC? Right?
Yeah.
So I like DC because I like Batman and Spider-Man. I do like those movies. They get a little out there sometimes.
Freakier Friday is coming
Ooh,
out.
yeah, I'm
August
excited.
8th, 2025.
Oh,
I'm really excited about that. I love the comeback that Lindsay Lohan is making. She's
Yes.
making a great comeback. Has done some Netflix movies.
Yeah, some cute ones. That Christmas movie that shit came out. That was
Yeah.
cute.
I'm loving that. And of course, our girl Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mhm.
Love her.
The
And,
Scream Queen.
So that's really exciting that they are coming out with that. And then next year, but then we have The Conjuring Last Rites, September
Yeah.
5th. That's a big movie that people are looking forward to. And then we also have, this is a little bit next year, but Scream 7 is going to be coming out.
Yes.
And
I can't
we
wait.
are Scream fanatics.
Yes, if you missed
love
it, we are
Scream people.
horror film fanatics, and we're trying not to make this whole podcast about horror films. That's why we want to start off with like a kind of like a light fun, fun to me movie.
Yeah. I guess the good thing about the podcast is that you can just pick and choose what episodes you want to watch.
Like if you haven't seen that movie, I don't want to listen to that,
like any other,
because we will have spoiler alerts, and well, I'm not going to say spoiler alert. I'm saying what I'm saying it right now. All the movies we review, it's going to reveal stuff that happened. So if you don't want to know about something, then don't listen until you watch it.
I mean, I don't think people would really listen until they watched it. I don't know.
Well,
I feel
people look at reviews before they watch movies. So maybe
I guess
you know what I'm
so.
saying? But ours will reveal main details. So if you don't want to know, like me, I don't like to know the ending. Ashley could know the ending and be fine.
Yeah,
I
be
don't want to
fine.
know. I do not want to know the ending. If I already know the ending, I feel like there's no point in watching it.
You could tell me the whole movie and I'd still go watch it.
Yeah.
There's another Now You See Me, Now You Don't movie coming out.
What?
And,
Who's starring in
November
that
14th
one?
of 2025. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Isla Fisher, so all the same cast.
I'm in love with Dave Franco.
I actually like that movie.
Oh, I love those movies. They're really good.
I like anything. And then the next Wicked part is coming out.
I can't. We will not really be reviewing musicals
if
very
we
much.
do, it'll be
I
with me
hate
and
music.
somebody else.
I don't hate them. Like, I love Grease. That's pretty much it.
I saw Wicked. I saw the first part. I enjoyed it, but it was really, really long, and there's a lot of singing. So, like,
because it's a musical.
No, there's more singing than
It's just
a normal musical. Okay, I like watching musicals. You know who I'll have on for that episode?
Jennifer
our
and
friend.
Tiffany.
well,
feel like Jennifer
aka
watches them,
Tiffany.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if we should be giving out
Maybe
our
Jen
friends'
too.
first and last names.
I guess we could bleep it.
Yeah.
Bleep it.
Yeah, musicals.
Maybe. Or we'll get her.
Musicals are just a no. I when I'm watching a movie, I want to watch the movie. I don't want to just hear somebody sing the whole time. I just that's why you listen to music. Is to get music when it's in a movie form or a play. I mean, I guess you can leave it for Broadway. That's what Broadway is, right? They sing a
there's
lot.
People who
They
like
sing and
things,
act.
and there's people who don't. And
yeah,
that's fine.
and I don't.
That's fine.
Musicals.
I do love musicals.
It's probably because I'm an awful singer.
Like
but
the new Mean Girl I
haven't watched it because I heard it's a musical, and I'm like, why? Why take something like that could be good and funny
George.
and make it a musical? Like, stop doing
good.
that.
No. And then we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2 coming December 5th.
I haven't seen the first one. So
Never seen the first one. I would like to watch
it. But it has our boy Matthew Lillard in it.
If you don't know, we're obsessed with Matthew Lillard.
And we want him on our podcast one day.
We're manifesting that.
We love him.
We love him, and very sad that he got cut from everything. Like Scream. They cut him out of Scream. But that's only because the TV fell on his head. I mean,
right. I don't think they knew how Scream was going to be so what it is, right? Yeah. And how big of a cult following, I guess you could say, that it has, because, I mean...
Yeah. And then they made, like, he wasn't, he was Shaggy and Scooby-Doo in the real life ones, which love those movies. You need to, like, watch them again if you haven't seen them in a long time. They're so funny. And they had another Scooby-Doo movie come out, and they cut him from playing the voice of Shaggy, and he was upset about that. He had talked about it. And so now, and then he started his adventure on Five Nights at Freddy's. So, I mean, really, I would just be watching it to support him, because I don't really care for demonic animatronics. Kind of reminds me of like Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think it's a video game. I think that's how it started. I think it's a video game.
I need to look at it more, because I really don't know.
And then we have, let's see, anything that, we have The Housemaid coming out Christmas, December 25. The Housemaid is a movie that comes from a book by Frida McFadden.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that. I read the book. It's like a thriller.
Oh, a thriller.
Book. And we're going to have Sydney Sweeney in it, Amanda Seyfried, Brandon Sklenar. So, Michelle Marone. So, I'm excited about that. And then we have another Return of the Living Dead coming, which is comedy, horror, sci-fi. And we have, let's see, anything that we would be interested in.
And we love all types of movies, so we're going to be doing anything from scary to funny to thriller. And they may be like great movies, and maybe movies that you think are cheesy, It just goes back again to everybody has, the opinion on what type of movies they like. And this is our first episode, so it may be a little unorganized, so we apologize about that. But each episode we're going to try to bring you, our favorite scenes of the movie, the worst scenes, the ending scene, just kind of dive into it. Also about fun facts behind the scenes. We didn't really get into that on this one, behind the scenes, but I do want to start incorporating that, because I love the little like extra stuff that you don't know about the movie.
I did look for that, but the movie's kind of boring, so there wasn't much to cover about behind the scenes. But
there's definitely some other movies that I know for sure have a lot of little things in them.
Yeah.
Or a lot of Easter eggs,
Eventually,
it's like a trilogy or series or whatever.
Yeah. And eventually we'll tell you like what our next movie is, so you can watch it with us before we review. Currently didn't plan for that. So
and we would love like comments or suggestions on what movies y'all want a review on, because that'd be fun too if we had a big consensus of a certain type of movie.
Honestly, just two girls sharing thoughts about things, and that's really it. So don't take it too personally if we say something and you don't like it.
And we wanted to try to add at the end, anything that's going on with any actors, actresses, kind of like pop culture wise, that give you a little bit of fun stuff that's going on with them, but we didn't really put anything down for this episode, I don't think so.
We'll just see how it goes, and we'll
If you made it this far, we
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you listening because we feel like this is kind of chaotic at the moment. But
yeah.
you have to start somewhere, and we're doing this with no experience and no mentor,
Zero
I guess.
experience.
You could,
Zero
you
experience.
could say. It's just
so-
something we really always wanted to do, and we're diving straight in on it. So
Yep.
thank you so much for joining us today,
Thanks for listening. This is Plot Twist with
Mel.
and Ash.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.